Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm Chris Bianchi, and today we've got two special guests to discuss COVID-19, and specifically we're going to discuss the vaccination of children between 6 months and 4 years old in the Hispanic community here in Colorado. We will do this in a bilingual fashion. And as usual, we will be chatting with Dr. Ricardo González-Fisher, a medical expert with Servicios de la Raza, and Vanessa Bernal with Colorado's Department of Public Health and Environment. If you have a question in either English or in Spanish for our guests today, please email me at chris.bianchi, that's chris.bianchi@9news.com, and I'll make sure that it is answered. With that said, we will start today in Spanish. Hola y buenas tardes a todos. Vamos a hablar sobre el COVID-19 en la comunidad hispana y las vacunas para los niños entre 6 meses y 4 años de edad. Y vamos a hacer esto en español con el doctor Ricardo González-Fisher y Vanessa Bernal con el Departamento Estatal de Salud Pública. Buenas tardes y gracias por estar con nosotros hoy, como siempre.
Muchas gracias, Chris.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Y además, si necesitas esta información en inglés, lo tendremos en más o menos 5 minutos, pero ahora empezaremos en español. Y si tiene alguna pregunta en español, por favor, envíamelo a chris.bianchi@9news.com. Bueno, doctor, yo quiero empezar con usted. Y ahora que la vacuna está disponible para los niños menos que 5 años de edad, ¿qué debemos saber sobre esto?
Bien, pues hay mucho, estamos muy contentos. Es una gran emoción saber que ya ha sido aprobada esta vacuna para el uso en una quinta parte de nuestra población. Aproximadamente 1 de cada 5 personas que viven en Estados Unidos caen en este grupo de edad, y es uno de los grupos que son más vulnerables, aunque no han tenido muchos casos de enfermedad grave. Aproximadamente 7 de cada 10 niños menores a 5 años ya se han infectado con este virus. El hecho de estar enfermos pueden llevar a sus familias, y de hecho algunos de ellos tienen complicaciones a largo plazo. Entonces estamos muy contentos. Esto significa un avance importante para proteger a nuestros pequeños.
Muy importante. Y Vanessa, ¿cuándo y dónde estarán las vacunas disponibles para niños de 6 meses a 4 años de edad?
La última información, Chris, es que las vacunas ya llegaron al estado de Colorado el lunes 20 de junio y se van a estar distribuyendo a partir de ya. Obviamente pedimos que sean pacientes porque esta distribución podría tomar algo de tiempo, pero bueno, ya fueron recibidas el día 20 de junio. Lo que pueden hacer los padres de familia es contactar a sus proveedores de servicios médicos para saber si ellos ya tienen la vacuna disponible. Y otra opción también es ir a la página de internet del Departamento de Salud de Colorado, covid19.colorado.gov, y ahí van a estar publicando una lista con todos los proveedores que están ofreciendo la vacuna para este grupo, y obviamente esta lista va a ir poco a poco incrementándose.
Ok, bueno, vamos a escuchar eso. Y bueno, doctor, ¿qué diferencia hay entre la vacuna que reciben los niños y los adultos?
En realidad es la misma vacuna, nomás con dosis diferentes. Y una cosa que es importante mencionar es que en la historia de las vacunas en el mundo, no ha habido una vacuna que tenga que se haya monitoreado tan intensamente en cuanto a su seguridad como estas vacunas. Se ha demostrado ya que son vacunas altamente seguras. Han sido miles de millones de dosis que se han aplicado en todo el mundo, y creo que después de 2 años, bueno, estamos seguros que después de 2 años tenemos suficiente evidencia para hablar de la seguridad. Tenemos 2 tipos de vacunas aprobadas para niños. La vacuna de Pfizer, que van a ser 2 dosis con diferencia de 3 semanas entre la primera y la segunda, y una tercera dosis 8 semanas después. Y tenemos la vacuna de Moderna, que hasta ahorita está calculada para usar 2 dosis, una y 3 semanas después la otra.
Buena información, gracias doctor y Vanessa. Pero eso concluye la parte en español de nuestro programa. Ahora seguiremos en inglés. With us switching over to English now, Vanessa, I want to, well, actually, I'm going to start with you, doctor, here. Doctor, now that the vaccine is available for children under 5 years old, specifically between 6 months of age and 4 years of age, what should we know about this and how safe is this vaccine?
Well, thank you, Chris. The first thing I want to say is that we are really excited that this has been approved for the use in young children, because they represent 1 out of 5 members of society. And they're one of the most vulnerable group of people in our environment. We know that at least 7 out of 10, like 70% of kids younger than 5 years old have been infected by COVID. The bad thing is that they can bring this home, and this can be transmitted to someone who is vulnerable, but also they can have long-term effects like long COVID or other things that we still don't understand. So we're really excited that the vaccine is here. Talking about safety, these vaccines have undergone the most intensive safety monitoring of any vaccines in the history of vaccines. And after billions of doses that have been applied around the world, we know that these vaccines are safe to use on children.
Well, with that information in mind, Vanessa, where and when are the vaccines available or going to be available for children under the age of 5 years?
Chris, the vaccines are already here. They arrived on Monday, June 20th, and they are being distributed. They are available now. What I would recommend to parents is to contact their medical provider and check with them if they are already administering the vaccine. Also, they can check online on COVID-19 colorado.gov on our website, and there's going to be a list of providers that are offering the vaccine, and also this list, of course, is going to be increasing. As a final message, Chris, I would like to remind everybody that these vaccines are free, and also that parents and guardians are entitled to paid time off from work to take their children to get the vaccine and recover from any potential side effects after vaccination.
Again, it is free, and parents will get time off. It's required that parents get time off in order to get their kids vaccinated. Doctor, I guess the final big question I've got for you is, could you tell us about some of the differences between the vaccine that these younger children will be receiving compared to the one that adults get?
Yes, and the vaccines that we're using for children, or that we're going to be using for children, are the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, which are the same vaccine that adults are receiving right now. The only difference is the dose. These doses have been adjusted for the small size of their bodies, but it's the same vaccine. For Pfizer, we'll be using 2 doses with a 3-week difference between the first one and the second, and then we're going to have a booster 8 weeks later. For Moderna, there's only 1 dose, and 3 weeks later, a second dose. No booster needed yet.
Okay, so there are some of those differences. I mean, same vaccines you mentioned, but smaller doses and different time increments compared to the adult vaccine. So, Dr. Vanessa, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time for explaining some of these key differences and the big advance, as you called it, doctor, in terms of getting the vaccine available for children between the ages of 6 months and 4 years. And by the way, for those of you watching, and if you have a question that I did not ask today, please feel free to send me one. Again, it's chris.bianchi@9news.com, and I'll make sure that it is answered in future weeks. But that will do it for this week's look at COVID-19 in the Hispanic community, specifically here in Colorado. Gracias a todos. Thanks to everyone, and we'll see you all right back here next week. Thanks again.
Thank you.